Downtown Lafayette, Chris Morisi-Vitsa, Star City News.
My heel, my Achilles tendon.
Huh.
I found that the doc is in very interesting. I was like, maybe that's what I have. I mean, seriously, I didn't do anything to do it. Josh, my turn.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
A Lafayette small business cooking up more than just good food.
Temperatures in the mid 80s. Mid 80s today. We'll see some sunshine mixed with some clouds. Sunshine across our area. We'll keep the 80s in the forecast as we head through the next several days, with dry weather in the forecast as well.
A Lafayette small business cooking up more than just good food.
And a camp putting kids on the beat. More on the Lafayette Police Junior Academy. Your Star City News begins now. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Josh Egberts.
And I'm Meredith Mitchell. East End Grill is the Greater Lafayette Commerce Small Business of the Month.
Star City's Chris Morisi-Vitsa reports that good food and teamwork are the company's key ingredients.
East End Grill has steadily built its clientele since the restaurant opened on Main Street in 2016. Owner Scott Traskis credits ties to Purdue and his wife's family in Greater Lafayette.
We're fortunate to have a local network of people that kind of helped us get off the ground, and it has gone from there with people enjoying the restaurant, and we're really happy they do.
Traskus also credits Chef Lule and the nearly 50 employees who serve up fresh American cuisine that keeps customers coming back.
And we got a lot of people that have been here since day one, which has really contributed to us being able to have a lot more stability within the restaurant.
Chef Lule says that employee loyalty is no accident.
A lot of our Scott's business practices have helped build the team, simple things like affording health insurance to hourly employees. It's not an expense that an average restaurateur would choose to bear.
Traskus says community support and business are so strong, he plans to build a second restaurant right here on Main Street, right across from the East End Grill where the R&M Wholesale building used to stand. He says it'll be a 2-story building with a patio on the second floor featuring roasted and smoked meats for fast casual dining. He says it'll fill a niche that East End Grill doesn't. Reporting in downtown Lafayette, Chris Morrissey-Vitza, Star City News.
Now, your first weather.
We did see some cloud cover across our area today, but some sunshine as well. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s across much of the area. 83 the high temperature today in Fowler. 85 so far here in Lafayette. We actually add another degree to that here over the next couple hours as temperatures are still kind of rising as you get a little bit more sunshine to kind of filter through those clouds. But it looks like overnight tonight we'll drop back into the 50s by the time you wake up early tomorrow morning. So evening forecast looking pretty good. Get out and enjoy this evening. Mostly sunny skies through 8 o'clock, upper 70s, low 70s by 10 o'clock, and then back into the upper 60s at midnight with a mainly clear sky across the area. It looks like pretty much quiet weather the rest of the work week as temperatures stay close to 80. And it looks like the next chance of rain not arriving until the middle part of next week. And we'll talk more about that with your full forecast coming up in just a few more minutes.
All right, Chris, thanks. The Lafayette Police Department is hosting nearly 30 teenagers this week. They're taking part in the Junior Police Academy. The 3-day course is for kids who are interested in law enforcement and community service. The activities include classroom sessions and hands-on training with real police equipment. Officer Mark Roberts says that the participants learn about the responsibilities of police work and how to interact with officers.
I think it gives a lot of them the aspects of what the officers really do. Everything from crime scene technicians, traffic stops, SWAT team, civil disturbance, anything that an officer may encounter on a daily basis, these kids are seeing.
It's a fun learning experience, and most of the stuff that they tell you here, definitely you can use in the future.
The academy will wrap up tomorrow with a graduation ceremony that parents are invited to attend.
A gunman accused of opening fire inside a Mississippi Walmart has been taken into custody. At least 2 people are dead and several others injured, including a police officer. After this morning's shooting, police confirming the suspect, who is a Walmart employee, was shot before being taken into custody and was taken to the hospital.
Our officer is currently in the hospital recovering with his family. At this point, the suspect was engaged by another officer. He was struck twice by gunfire from our officer. He was taken into custody. He has been transported to Regional 1 Medical Center, where it is my understanding that he is currently in surgery.
Now, there were about 60 employees inside the building during the time of that shooting.
Americans' love of French wine are likely to keep stocking their cellars and uncorking bottles despite President Trump's threat to impose a tax in a potential new trade war. But makers of cheaper French vintages are concerned. France's Premier Wines sells for hundreds of dollars a bottle and are often bought for their prestige as much as their taste, industry experts say. So a U.S. tariff will have less of an impact on demand, but consumers of less expensive wines can readily switch to other nations' wine. President Trump raised the prospect of tariffs in retaliation for the planned digital services tax by France, and he criticized President Emmanuel Macron for what he calls, quote, foolishness.
Well, an update now on the pilot whales rescued on a Florida beach Monday. Dozens of people jumped in to rescue the 5 pilot whales that beached themselves on Redington Beach. 2 of the whales were taken to a marine center to be checked out and are doing well. The 3 others were taken out to deeper water and are being tracked via satellite. The goal is to reunite the whales when the younger ones are ready.
Well, do your adult children still get an allowance? A new study shows nearly half of millennials are still getting monthly money from their parents to pay for basic costs. The survey conducted by the website Money Under 30 asked 1,000 millennials about their financial independence. More than 45% admitted their parents help cover their bills, such as their phone bills, grocery, and even rent. The study claims millennials are struggling due to their lower salaries, higher cost of living, and trying to pay off their student loans. About 13% say they don't have a savings account.
Preeclampsia may increase a woman's risk of kidney failure later in life. Researchers analyzed data from more than 4 million Swedish women over a 20-year period. Those who had preeclampsia during at least one pregnancy were 5 times more likely to have kidney failure. This is compared to those who did not develop extremely high blood pressure. While the overall risk for kidney failure was small, scientists say more research is needed to see if women with difficult pregnancies should receive more screening.
Well, if you plan on going swimming in a local lake, there's an important warning you need to hear, and it involves something called swimmer's itch, and it can be a real problem.
Dr. Frank McGeorge has some simple steps to help you avoid this icky illness.
Lake living is great until the water you depend on for fun and sport carries a parasite that burrows into your skin. That's exactly what causes swimmer's itch, a parasite that requires 2 other things to multiply and invade: snails and certain birds like merganser or mallard ducks and Canada geese. Michigan is a hub for much of the research into the life cycle of the parasite that causes swimmer's itch. It was first discovered back in 1928 in a Michigan lake. Here's what happens. The parasites infect the bird, who then pass parasite eggs in their feces. Those eggs hatch and invade snails, where they multiply into the form that can burrow into a person's skin. Now, humans aren't the target, birds are, but that doesn't stop them from trying, and it's the attempt to literally get under your skin that causes the problem. When the larvae die, they create an intense allergic response that leads to the red bumps and itching. It isn't contagious and they aren't harmful as long as the bumps don't become infected, but the itching will leave you miserable for days. The treatment for the itching and redness are antihistamines and steroid creams. There are a few things you can do to prevent the problem. Using waterproof sunscreen is thought to help by creating a barrier over your skin to the parasite. Also, ask if swimmer's itch has been an issue where you plan to swim. If it is, don't get in.
Now, after swimming in the water with lots of ducks or geese, or that's marshy or has a lot of snails, shower immediately and towel off completely, or just stay out of that particular lake or marshy body of water.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, still ahead here on Star City News, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback Andrew Luck's health may be impacting his season. Bailey will have more on that coming up in sports.
And a massive data breach could be impacting more than 100 million Credit One credit card customers in applications all across the U.S. and Canada.
And not too bad of an evening across Greater Lafayette. We have a mixture of clouds and some sunshine. Temperatures dropping back into the upper 70s and low 80s. Eventually clearing skies overnight should get us back into the upper 50s as you wake up early on your Wednesday. We'll talk more about some pretty nice weather in store for the rest of the work week when we come back.
Now, Star City weather.
Now this is what I'd be doing on a hot day as well. I'd be going to the ice cream shop for sure. Temperatures were warm today and this mom took her girls to Budge's Drive-In to cool off with some ice cream. It's a Lafayette tradition, of course. Budge's has operated on 14th and Hartford Street since 1942. Looks like those girls are doing a great job of getting that ice cream and enjoying that ice cream on this hot day today. Temperature-wise, yeah, we're into the 80s this afternoon, mid-80s in some areas. Our high temperature so far for today is 85 with sunshine now here in Lafayette. Still got a few clouds kind of coming through the area, so a mixture of sun and clouds. 81 in Fowler right now with a mixture of sun and clouds. 81 in Maracus, 82 degrees in Dayton, and 82 degrees in Romney with mostly sunny skies. Also been noticing those dew points not quite as steamy as we saw over the weekend or even late last week. We're back in the 60s for dew points. Yeah, still a bit of mugginess to it, especially with temperatures in the mid-80s, but definitely looking like some nicer weather is in the forecast the next several days. Even as our dew points will probably drop into the 50s tonight, we may keep those dew points in the upper 50s tomorrow as our temperatures tomorrow basically stay in the 70s in many areas. So let's take a look at our Wednesday forecast. This is looking pretty good. Mid-50s to start as you wake up early tomorrow morning. That's a nice start to the day. Again, much like today, we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds. We're looking at a high temperature, upper 70s to near 80s. Got a little bit of a north wind that's going to help kind of bring a little bit cooler weather in as we have a high pressure up to our north, kind of ushering in that little bit drier weather and also cooler weather. But we'll take temperatures in the upper 70s for Wednesday, which of course is the last day of July before we turn to August. And even the first few days of August looking pretty good too, as temperatures will probably stay in the upper 70s and low 80s. Here's our weather notes as we head through the next several days. Really more the same for the rest of the work week and get ready for the upcoming weekend. So a mixture of sun and clouds for your Wednesday. Yeah, temperature's pretty nice for this time of year, and really we'll keep the same weather going for Thursday and Friday. May get rid of some of the clouds and turn into a little more sunshine with nice and pleasant weather continuing as we head into the end of the work week and get ready for the upcoming weekends. Here's what it looks like on our forecast map. We got high pressure up to our north, and with that then some very pleasant conditions coming back into our area, partly to mostly sunny skies. Yeah, a little rain chance over well off to our west. That's going to actually move more to the north and to the east, so we're going to kind of stay out of our area. It looks like we'll keep the dry weather and the quiet weather in the forecast here the next several days. Not really seeing a lot of rain chances until maybe early next week. So let's take a look at our forecast for tonight. 56 degrees, mainly clear skies. Our north winds at about 5 miles per hour. Now our 7-day forecast will keep those temperatures upper 70s, low 80s as we end the work week and get ready for the weekend. Maybe get to the mid 80s this weekend, so maybe slightly warmer, or kind of like we saw today as those temperatures get back in the mid 80s. Even through early next week though, maybe late Tuesday or into Wednesday, we could see some scattered showers or thunderstorms, but until then, dry weather, quiet weather, and almost picture perfect weather as we kind of close the books on July Wednesday and open the book to a new month of August on Thursday. All right, stay with us. More news when we come back.
Capital One is apologizing to customers after a hacker compromised the personal information of 106 million people.
The case is among the largest security breaches of an American financial institution ever. Sarah Dolph has the story.
Capital One working to notify more than 100 million credit card applicants in the U.S. and Canada whose personal information may have been exposed in the latest massive data breach.
This is the 8th largest data breach in terms of sheer number of accounts compromised.
33-year-old Paige A. Thompson, a former software engineer, is in federal custody, charged with computer fraud and abuse, after authorities say she accessed the data through a server rented by Capital One, then posted about it online.
But I think what's interesting about this breach is that it's really more of a warning shot than anything else. Fortunately, it sounds like the alleged perpetrator was caught early enough that no data was actually sold on the black market.
That information mostly comes from people and small businesses who applied for credit cards in the past 14 years and includes names, addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, and portions of credit histories, along with 140,000 Social Security numbers and 80,000 bank account numbers.
The best thing you can do is take matters into your own hands, freeze your credit, change your passwords, check your credit regularly.
Experts urging consumers to be proactive following yet another data breach.
Now, in a statement, Capital One said it will provide free credit monitoring and identity protection to those affected.
Well, coming up next, Andrew Luck will sit out the rest of training camp.
And U.S. women's national team head coach Jill Ellis stepping down. Bailey will have more on that coming up in sports.
I got one call. Good evening and welcome back to Star City Sports. Welcome back to Star City Sports. I'm Bailey Wilborn. The Indianapolis Colts are shutting down quarterback Andrew Luck for the next 2 practices and possibly longer due to a left calf strain that has bothered him since late April. The QB and coach Frank Reich say they just want to be cautious moving forward.
Felt good about him going for the first 4 days and progressing up, and then just getting feedback from Andrew, just not ready to take the next step, and just thought the best thing to do is be conservative, go back and regroup, and let's get this thing right.
It's a calf strain, and we're on our feet a lot, and I know to be the best quarterback I want to be, to help this team like I want to help them, I can't be, I'm not looking for average, and if I'm going out here with pain, I'll be average. I will feel like an average quarterback, and I'll be an average quarterback. That's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for this club.
Chicago Bears safety HaHa Clinton Dix participated in training camp today. He is coming back from the PUP list after dealing with a knee injury from OTAs. Clinton Dix says he can tell something special is brewing in Chicago and is happy to be back with the team.
Last day, man, we still competing, still having fun. It's just a scary injury, but I'm just glad it was something minor. But I know they wanted to be, careful with me and take it slow. We don't play until September, so we want to just be careful and, make sure I was ready to go. So they gave me a couple more days, and I'm excited to be back out here with these guys.
Four-time Stanley Cup winner Chris Kunitz has retired after 15 NHL seasons. The forward will join the Chicago Blackhawks coaching staff, the team announced today. Kunitz spent last season with the Hawks, posting 5 goals and 5 assists in 56 games. He will work in the Blackhawks hockey operations department as a player development advisor. Parents with children obsessed with video gaming, it is possible for them to turn that passion into a career. On Sunday, the world watched as a 16-year-old kid won $3 million for winning a video game tournament. The popular video game Fortnite hosting its first World Cup event in New York City over the weekend. This is just one example of the growing trend of esports. People of all ages are able to put their skills to the test and win some cash. Some gamers can make a decent living, even earning endorsements. One industry CEO says now is the time to get in on the ground floor.
And make about $200 to $300 a week, going to about 3 tournaments in Colorado every week.
You can join a team at your high school. I think there's over 60 colleges in this country that now have esports competitive programs. Entry salaries can be in that, even the $50,000, $100,000 before sponsorship.
The president of U.S. Soccer is responding to claims of wage discrimination, saying the women's national team has been paid more than men's. Federation President Carlos Cordeiro released a letter sharing figures that the women's team was reportedly paid nearly $34 million in salary and bonuses between 2010 and 2018. U.S. Soccer says during that time, the men's team was paid $26.4 million. Cordeiro cites different pay structures for the two teams and adds that men have the ability to earn higher bonuses than the women. A spokesperson for the players involved in the lawsuit calls U.S. Soccer's figures misleading. Well, speaking of the women's national team, head coach Jill Ellis will be stepping down after her team completes its 5-game victory tour. She'll walk away after leading the team to its 2nd straight Women's World Cup championship. Her contract was set to expire this week, and Ellis said this is the right time for her to move on. The move leaves the team without a coach heading into next summer's Tokyo Olympic Games, but the team is expected to hire a general manager soon before the search for a new head coach begins. Ellis has been with the team since 2014 and won 102 of the 127 games she coached, the most for anyone with the job.
It makes you wonder, Tokyo is only a year away. You wonder why she's stepping down now than, after the Olympics, but
I guess the time was right.
Everyone has their reasons.
Yep.
Bailey, thanks. We're back right after this.
And taking a final look at our 7-day forecast, we have temperatures in the upper 70s for your Wednesday. Not too bad for this time of year. We'll probably be in low 80s Thursday and Friday. Overall dry weather continuing. We're going to have lows into the 50s as well. This is some pretty nice weather as we end July. Get ready for August. A little bit warmer this weekend. We're back in the mid-80s with partly to mostly sunny skies. I'll probably keep those mid-80s around into early next week. But don't see a lot of rain chances. Maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday we may see some chance of rain, but otherwise looks like dry weather and pretty pleasant conditions here the next 7 days.
Your job's going to be hard for the next few days.
It's a tough job every day.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, thank you so much for watching your Star City News. We hope you have a great night. We'll see you back here later on.
Thank you for watching Star City News. Follow us on Facebook and listen to us on the radio.